Hello. Hello. Welcome to the first ever Hubs Team Hack Week live stream. We are coming to you live from our respective homes from all over the world. Liv, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing super well, super excited to be here and chatting with everyone today and getting to show off the awesome project that we've been working on. One of my favorite parts about Hack Week is just how creative everyone on this team is, and that we get to basically just play around and experiment with new stuff for Hubs. And I'm super, super excited that we were able to pull all this together. I know you've done a ton of work getting this live stream like up and ready to roll. So I am super excited. How about you?
Oh my goodness, my heart is racing, but mostly because I feel like our tech is just going to fall over any second. So thank you folks who are tuning in for bearing with us. This is an experiment. We'd love to hear your feedback afterwards. So I don't know if I actually introduced myself. I'm Elgin. I'm the community manager for Hubs, and we're just so excited to be sharing the results from our Hack Week. And you might be watching thinking like, I don't know what this Hack Week is. So we're going to go into more detail and tell you a little bit of additional detail about that shortly. But before that, I just want to say a very quick intro to like what the structure of this is going to be like. So I'm going to be introducing Hack Week along with Erica from our team. Then we're going to talk a little bit about design at Hubs. And then following this, the different members of our team who are currently actually here on video feed, so you'll get a chance to see their faces for probably like the first time if you've been hanging out with us in Hubs. We're going to present on some different projects that we've been working on. Liv will be introducing some information about our upcoming roadmap and like where these things fit in the bigger picture. And then what are we doing after that, Liv?
After that, we're going to play some games as a team. We've been really hooked on a game called Nerds, and we are excited to show you our fun and slightly at times competitive side.
So yeah, please stick around. We can't wait to share this with you. Also, we are monitoring chat. So if you've got questions or feedback that you want to pass on to us, now is a really great chance. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, we're going to start off today by talking a little bit about what this Hack Week is that we're like keep referring to for this Hack Week stream. So for that, I'm going to hand the virtual mic over to Erica to introduce this.
Thank you, Elgin. So we decided to try a Hack Week. We thought that'd be a really interesting way to start out the year, but you might be asking yourself, what is a Hack Week? Think of it like a week-long team hackathon where we break out into small teams and build quick prototypes for key projects and features we want to test. There were a few reasons we wanted to try this. The biggest reason, we had some really ambitious product goals for the year. We wanted to test them out and surface any major questions as early as possible, so we can break them down and plan our roadmap with some understanding of timing and also complexity. Another reason is we had some amazing research and concepts coming out of our design and people experiences team, or DPX for short, and we wanted to know quickly what it would take to integrate some of these ideas into the product. And finally, we had been really focused at the end of last year on performance, stability, and user experience improvements. We thought this Hack Week would be a fun way to kickstart the cycle of product innovation and new feature development for this year. To start, we briefed the team on high-level goals and ideas coming from DPX. Then we held a kickoff session where we brainstormed together, then pitched the ideas we were going to work on to the team. And during the week, we removed any meetings that weren't absolutely necessary to allow for as much heads-down hacking as possible. We did add a few optional working sessions where people could share their work and bounce ideas around or just ask for help. But then we got to work. And today you get to see a sneak peek of what that work, and what that means for the hubs that we all know and love.
That's awesome, Erica. Did you have fun that week?
I had so much fun. This team is so creative and worked so quickly to bring some really cool things to fruition.
Yeah, it was really cool. And it was neat to see how people came up with different project ideas and how we narrowed it down. And we certainly didn't get to everything that we absolutely wanted to, but I think the projects we picked were really cool. Okay, so we did not do this work on our own, though. Like, obviously, we did do a lot of the work on our own, but we relied very heavily on the design team at Mozilla. And so I want to just pass over the virtual mic to Regan to give us an idea of like sort of what that collaboration was like to get these ideas off the ground.
Yeah, thanks, Elgin. Unfortunately, I'm Regan, everybody. Hey, everybody. I am the design manager here with Hubs. Unfortunately, our two designers cannot join us today as they are on opposite sides of the world. Dan, shout out to you down in New Zealand, and Matt over in the UK. Wish you guys were here. Dan and Matt have done an amazing job working with the team here this week in the Hack Week, really being able to produce kind of the visualizations of what the engineers were dreaming up. They came up with some great ideas, and Dan and Matt really were able to bring those visualizations to life, and then even be able to push the engineers to even like a next step, which was really awesome. And it was such a great time to really get the hands-on experience of working back and forth with the team. It was great because it was one of my first weeks on the team, so I was super excited to be here and join, and it's been really fun ever since.
Awesome. That's great. And can you tell me a little bit, like you're relatively new to the team, like what's been some of the things that you've enjoyed about working on Hubs?
Nerds. No, it's been really great. The team's just been fantastic, welcoming, and really fun to work with. We're being able to kind of brainstorm so many different ideas. There were so many different ideas coming into 2021, and really working with Liv and Erica and team just to really help streamline the roadmap has just been exciting, because such great ideas are just coming out left and right, and it's really been fun to kind of try to funnel through them all and pick and choose. But one of the things we're doing a lot of, and we're trying to get started, is working with the community to really figure out what is the next best steps for us, right? And really gathering that feedback from you guys to really figure out what is what we should be doing next for Hub. So definitely, if anybody has a chance, come join us over in the Discord, specifically in the design channel. We'd love to get your feedback and hear from you guys directly. We'll be occasionally presenting a lot of our work and getting your direct feedback, and what you guys tell us is what's going to go into this app down the way.
Amazing. You sort of stole my next question out of my mouth, because I was going to ask, like, how do you want to involve the community with this? I know that you folks have dropped in on our meetups recently, and we also have a Discord channel. And I think that we're going to be trying to incorporate user feedback a lot more into our designs going forward. So that's really exciting.
Yes, thanks. I forgot about the meetup too. So thanks for plugging that. Yes, we will be there. Hopefully I'm going for every other week, if not every week, if Elgin will give us the time. But yeah, we're definitely planning on connecting with the community as much as possible to really gather feedback as often as we can to really incorporate everything that people are saying.
Oh, that's so fantastic. I'm so happy that you folks are coming to share this stuff at the meetups. The meetups are on Fridays from 11:30 to 12:30 Pacific time. We might also be shifting a little bit so that our colleagues Dan and Matt can actually come and attend, because they're on, as we mentioned, very different time zones. So we might also have some special meetups that are at kind of different times so that they can attend and hear your feedback firsthand. But if you do want to find out more about this, you can go to our Discord channel and head to the design channel or Discord server and go to the design channel. So without any further ado, I'd like to move into talking a little bit more about these Hack Week projects that folks were working on. So to lead the presentations, we're going to start off with a presentation by Christian, who's going to be introducing a cool avatar maker that he's made this week. I again ask, this is an experiment in terms of tech. So, let's see how this goes. And if everything falls over, then, we'll see how it goes. We'll get up and running again if things fall over while we're screen sharing.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Elgin. Can everyone hear me all right? Great. So my name is Christian, and I'm a 3D artist working on Hubs. I've been in and around the video games and VR industry in Silicon Valley for the last over 10 years. And about a year ago, started working with the Mozilla people on the Hubs project. Like many, I wasn't super familiar a year ago with Hubs, although once I saw it, I was instantly blown away by what it could do. That said, I was brought on to help essentially make avatars and 3D environments, mostly avatars. And I really felt like Hubs needed some sort of avatar editor like you might find in when you turn on your Nintendo or your Xbox. And so that's what I set out to make. So I'm going to switch over to screen share mode here and talk a little bit about my process. And if anyone has any questions along the way, feel free to shoot them into the chat or jump over to Discord. I'm always there. All right. So initially, there's so many ways you can make 3D avatars, and there's so many different styles. I started out by gathering reference, and I sort of I organized it from stylized to realistic on the x-axis and simple to complex on the y-axis. Now, my colleague Jim is already making a line of avatars that sort of lands in the upper right quadrant, I would say. So I decided to steer my avatars towards the lower left region and make something a little more stylized and friendly and cute. So some of my goals, create something with an accessible style that would appeal to a wide range of people, something that was versatile, that you could dress up and make a whole bunch of different looks out of, and something that was simple and performant for mobile users and such. So here's some of my initial attempts. I was exploring different body shapes, different head shapes, different faces and eyes, etc. I sort of started gravitating towards the guys on the far right there. I took that and sort of started to refine it a bit, and I was looking at different eye shapes, different mouth shapes, and I made some further refinements over the course of time. And then so I ended up with this system that I'm showing here, where I've made a variety of different characters. If you've shown up to some of our meetup events, you might have seen me wearing some of these avatars. And so, yeah, that's what I've come up with. This is the system. You may or may not be able to recognize some of these characters, and I can't tell you if you do or not because I can't. All right, I'm going to switch screens and show you the Blender file. So I can totally figure out how to do that. Okay, so here's the file itself. I've got a number of different shirts and hats and hairstyles and all kinds of things. I'm going to be sharing a version of this file with the community that's sort of stripped down that you'll be able to use to add your own custom parts. And it's really easy to do. All you do is basically just model it in place like I've done with this hat here. And then really quickly, I can bind that to the armature. We're here and assign those weights to the head bone, those verts to the head bone. And then I can check and go into pose mode, and I can rotate the head bone, and you can see that the hat is assigned to that bone. And now I can actually export this hat and bring it into the editor that we've created. So a couple of the engineers on the team, John and Brian, were gracious enough to want to work on this during the Hack Week, and I'm super excited. I've been working on these pieces over the course of the last year, and I'm happy to see this come to fruition. I'm beyond happy. So what does it look like when you get to what we've created? And I'm going to switch screens, and I'm totally, here we go. I can find it. Give me a second. All right, so here's what we have made. And a big shout out to the members on the design team that helped us create this awesome UI. So here's the editor itself, and you can click randomize here and just get a completely random character generated over and over and over again, which is kind of fun to do. And then you can even take that custom part we exported. There's a little upload custom part button here, and we can even add that hat that I made, and there it is. And once you're happy with the choices you've made, there's all kinds of different facial hairs, etc., different colors. And once you got what you want, you just click export avatar. It makes a GLB file, which you can then bring into Hubs and use as your avatar. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. One moment as I change screens again. All right. And here I am. And so that's basically it in a nutshell. And I'm excited to release this to the community, see what you guys come up with, see what crazy creations you'll come up with, and new parts you'll add to the library. And yeah, I'm just really happy to see this get off the ground. And so thank you for checking it out. And if there's any questions, you can find me in Discord or at our Friday meetups. I'm there all the time. And I will send it back over to Elgin.
Hey, awesome. Christian, are you still able to hear me? I've got some follow-up questions for you.
Sure, I can hear you now.
Okay. Awesome. That's great. I'm glad that this is working this time. One thing I just wanted to mention is that it's live on the web, right? So you don't have to download anything to be able to use the the avatar editor that you were just showing, right?
That's right.
Awesome. And where can people go to check this out? Is it live now?
That's a great question. It is live now, and if we're ready to distribute it, I think that we ought to, and we can put the URL in the Discord chat, or however we want to do that.
All right, perfect. We'll share it in GitHub. We'll also share it in the Twitch stream chat here too in just a second once we've grabbed it.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure that it's a really nice, easy URL to get to, so you can make those awesome avatars right in the browser. The other thing I wanted to mention too is that this was like a pretty intense week. So it was like a hack week. We were trying to get through a lot of projects. We had a whole bunch of ideas running through our heads. So the projects we come up now, like some of them are going to be going into production. So, or rather like online, so you can use them, like the Hack Week Avatar Editor, which I think is the name that we settled on. The Hack Week Avatar Maker. So these avatars are going to be online. The code base that's behind it, bear in mind it was made in a very short period of time. It's not. Let's see, Erica, can you chime in to say a little bit more about the status of this project?
Yeah. So just keep in mind, a lot of the projects coming out of the Hack Week were prototypes. So go forward with that in mind. We will be refining these and iterating on these and making them even better with community feedback. But as they stand now, they are prototypes.
Amazing. Thank you for that additional context. So one thing that I, as a community manager, when I'm interfacing with the community, I hear a lot from people is, I love hubs, but I really miss people's faces. I want to see what they look like, especially when I meet people for the first time in hubs, like it can establish some trust, or just, to see an old friend is really nice. So one of the things that we decided to try out during Hack Week was just play around with some ideas of like, what would it look like to have cameras incorporated into hubs? So we've got a couple different examples coming up for you, but the first one is from Robin on our team. I'm going to jump over into that space, and I think Jim's going to move the camera view over into this space so we can do a live demo. Let's see how it goes.
Hello, everyone. So I am Robin. I'm going to be showing you 2D webcams that we have up for you, and it's going to be a live demo. So please bear with us. Again, making sure that everything doesn't fall over. And you'll notice, hey, look at me, the cool avatars. Perhaps wasn't made in the Avatar Maker. Why, in fact, it was. All right, so to show you, Elgin already jumped in, and I'm going to share my webcam. Perfect. So as you can see, we have 3 different webcams going in hubs, and there's the 2D one, or the 3D one that's actually in the room as well. I was excited to work on this because a few months back, my friends and I were working and actually wanted to share a webcam. So we set up the 3D webcams in hubs next to each other like a Zoom room. And so when 2D webcams was put on this list, I'm doing that one. So I wanted to do a shout out to Dan from our design team, who helped get kind of the design of what we were going to do, the direction that I definitely needed to be making for this particular feature. And so we started off playing with different ways that we were going to put can I do my, yes, I can use my pen. Great. Do different spacing for the windows, and we did settle on a little bit of space. Now to come up The mobile view has not been integrated quite yet, but that is definitely something to go into next time. And then something I'm also extremely excited about is since we're going to be having different types of ways to share media. So your webcam that's in 3D, webcam 2D, and then, screen share. I'm excited for actually expanding the share menu and having multiple ones that you can toggle. Anyway, that's this in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that tour, Robin. That was really fun. I loved hearing the anecdote about you and your friends positioning webcams in the room. I've definitely heard that from other folks as well.
Oh, yes.
Was there anything in particular about this project that you found was really super fun or challenging? What was it like working on this over the course of a week?
So what I really wanted to understand better was the way that our WebRTC system worked and our NAF adapter, networked A-frame. And so I got to dive into that code and figure out what exactly I needed to do to switch and kind of play with it. And that part was really exciting and challenging as well, since that was my kind of first foray into that particular part of the system.
Cool. That's awesome. So we have building on the theme of cameras. Next up, we have Robert on our team, who was taking the challenge of having webcams in room or webcams in hubs in a bit of a different direction. So I'll pass the virtual mic over to you now, Robert.
Right. Yeah. So another big request that we get is, can I get my webcam on my avatar? And we've really wanted to do this for a long time, and this was finally the week to make this happen. And Jim and I worked on a rough demo of what that might look like, and it should be going live relatively soon. So Jim, if you're ready. So right now we have some temporary artwork on this avatar that I'm wearing right now. But if I go down to the share menu and hit avatar camera, which only works on supported avatars, and enable my webcam, I got to stop Zoom really quick. One sec. I think I actually have to refresh. Hold on one second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, having multiple webcams at the same time in different applications is a total
Zoom
total
doesn't
nightmare.
like that, so I'll be right back in. Yeah. All right.
I had to use a quick workaround with the previous demo to actually stream my camera through OBS to get Zoom to know that it was to get Hubs to know that it was free from Zoom.
Well, here you can see my avatar is on, my webcam's on my avatar. And so during the hack week, I got this done pretty quickly, and we tested out some video filters and all sorts of other fun things to do with the avatars. If you'll notice, this one is always pointing in the direction of your camera, so it's on a billboard. We may or may not keep that. It's sometimes a little disturbing to have someone always watching you.
Yeah, in testing that, we found that kind of creepy.
Yeah, but it's really cool that you're just able to add all these components to the avatar and make it do different things. So, and that's one of the really cool things about this system is this webcam avatar system can be added to any avatar out there. It basically is a component that you can add in the Blender exporter. Just like Christian was showing earlier, you could add this webcam as a texture to your avatar, and it'll get replaced as the webcam from the share menu as soon as you click that, and you can toggle it on and off. Jim's working on some new avatars. It's going to be really awesome. Can't wait to show you them. And yeah, we're hoping to get this out really soon.
Very cool. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Robert. One thing that was really cool too is that Robert has a couple of Hack Week projects too that he's going to be showing off. So we will hear more from Robert in a few minutes. In the meantime, however, who's next on our list? So we're going to be hearing from a member of our team, Manuel, who unfortunately can't be here at the moment because his time zone is such that it is like the middle of the night for him. So I didn't expect him to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning to be here. But he did send along a video recording to let us know a little bit more about what he was working on. So I'll hand it over to Jim if that video is ready.
Hi, I'm Manuel Martin and I'm part of the Hubs engineering team, and I want to introduce you my Hack Week project server-side audio mixing using FFmpeg. In Hubs, we use Dialog, which is a media space CPU that handles all the WebRTC media communications for both audio and video. The way it works right now is every client receives a stream with all the other peers' audio tracks. So for every client, you receive n-1 audio tracks for the other peers in the call. The main goal of this project was to try to improve the overall bandwidth and resources consumption in those scenarios where things like spatialized audio is not critical, but other things like performance or bandwidth consumption it is, because maybe they're using low-end devices or you are in a slow network. An important thing was to make it an opt-in per client feature, so you can choose between using the previous implementation or choosing the new audio mixing implementation. As a third goal was to explore new media streaming opportunities for Hubs in the future. The way audio mixing works is every peer sends a media stream with an audio track to a dialog server that spawns a new FFmpeg process per client, which mixes all those streams and outputs a new stream with an audio, with single audio track, with all those tracks mixed. So while implementing this, we encounter a few issues. First, we lose spatial audio, which we already knew. Second, we cannot add or remove input RTP streams once the FFmpeg process is running. So we need to respawn a new process every time a new peer is connected and we need to mix a new audio stream. Also, this introduces a server-side load because we have to create more transport, producers, consumer, and also spawn new FFmpeg processes, which we have seen they don't really have a really high CPU consumption. The main issue probably is that it doesn't really scale well because FFmpeg, a mixer, introduces a delay during the mixing process that grows as more streams are mixed. Probably the biggest outcome of this project is discovering new opportunities for Hubs media stream in the future. For example, server-side audio and video recording, which will allow us to save recordings on the server side, and so you can share it later. Also broadcasting meetings between Hubs rooms, and also stream from other third-party services like Zoom or Twitch. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Manuel, for making that video. I'm sorry you can't be here to actually tell us about that yourself, but I'm so happy that you could still be here in a virtual format. So we've got a few more topics that we wanted to go over, like a few more projects that we wanted to touch on. So the next one up, this is going to kind of break your brain a little bit, maybe. It kind of makes me go a little bit like out of my mind, but I'll let Dom explain it. It has to do with integrations with Zoom. So
yeah, yeah, we'll see how well this works in the demo, because we're now on Zoom and Twitch and in Hubs all at the same time. But kind of like Manuel mentioned in the end of his presentation there, some of the stuff I looked into during the Hack Week was, first thing I looked into was streaming directly from Hubs to Twitch. I'm not going to demo that now because we're already streaming to Twitch, and so that's not really something I can demo. But the other thing I worked on was connecting Hubs to a Zoom call directly. And so let me get my screen shared to do that. All right. So this is just, and this actually ended up being just some client changes. So Zoom has a client SDK you can embed, and I don't think it's intended to be used in this way at all, but this is how I used it. So I just added a little extra button. This right button here will stream directly to Twitch, and this left button here will connect to a Zoom call. So I can click that, and then I should go mute myself in Zoom. Otherwise, you're going to hear me twice. And then I can share my video, and my video camera here is actually my camera view from Hubs. And you'll see I'm also seeing the Zoom call in Hubs. And it's kind of hard to talk right now because I'm hearing myself twice. Yeah, this, hold on, I'm going to mute myself in Zoom. Exactly, yeah. Oh, I'm talking to Jim and you can't hear him. That's why it sounds like I'm talking to myself. Okay, there we go. I had to mute Zoom because I was losing my mind trying to talk over myself. Yeah, so the way this works is actually, so this Zoom client you see in the top left corner is actually the Zoom Web SDK just dropped into an iframe. And then inside of that iframe, I sort of just do some browser trickery to convince Zoom that the camera view from Hubs is actually a webcam, and convince Zoom that the audio from the Hubs room is a microphone. And so then when I share my camera in the Zoom session, I'm actually sharing the view from Hubs. And this actually works surprisingly well. And then I was able to capture the stuff from Zoom onto this canvas behind me and share this in Hubs. And then this is actually shared out to everyone else in the room just as a normal screen share. So you see like the normal thing you'll see with the live video and all that. And I had to slightly modify some stuff and figure out how stuff worked in our WebRTC backend, like Robin was talking about, in order to do that. So I spent a bunch of time that week also working on just kind of understanding that stuff. But yeah, it ended up being a really cool experiment, and hopefully we can release this in some form or another. It's still pretty buggy and it's very hacky, so we'll see if it's actually something we can release. But yeah.
Very cool, Dom. Dom, can you still hear us? I don't know if you ended up muting.
I can. I've unmuted. I've unmuted myself in Zoom and disconnected from there.
Perfect. Okay, great. So one thing that I was wondering, can you talk a little bit about like what kind of inspired that project in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, so I actually started the week, like I said, working on the Twitch integration thing and directly streaming to Twitch, and then I was just looking at other options. We had a list of kind of ideas we had, and I saw the Zoom thing, and I was originally planning on tackling Zoom in the way kind of Manuel alluded to there, in a similar way to Twitch, where it was like, okay, I'll stream to the back end or maybe like to a desktop app and then treat it as a virtual webcam and pipe that into Zoom. But then while I was looking into that, found like the Zoom SDK and then realized, oh, hey, actually, this is just running in the browser. This is in JavaScript. I can screw around with things. JavaScript lets you override things pretty easily. And so I just kind of overrode the browser's APIs that Zoom normally uses to get a webcam and tricked it into seeing Hubs as a webcam. And so, yeah, that was a surprisingly effective trick. It's very brittle and easily like Zoom could do an update that would just completely break it. So I don't know if we'll actually release this as a real feature because it might just be too weird. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I can imagine this being super useful. If you have someone on a team that is into Hubs but can't quite convince the rest of the team that that's something they should try, just popping into a Zoom call that way I think could really really bring in some new people.
Well, I know that I don't want to put Liv on the spot, but Liv is a little bit famous for dropping into Zoom calls in Hubs. Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of the reaction you've gotten to that, Liv?
Yeah, I love being an avatar because there's so much more intentionality that you can add sometimes with that. Like I can think a lot about how I want my facial expressions to show up when I'm thinking about it on camera. But it's kind of nice sometimes to hide behind an avatar and, you don't see the room. And so when I show up to calls, I've been using this setup that's pretty convoluted. It's got like you're in the hubs room twice and one avatar is acting as a camera for the other avatar that you're controlling, and you're streaming that out through OBS as a virtual camera. But it always gets like really fun reactions when you show up and everyone's kind of on their calls, and then they look up and they see someone just like an avatar just like smiling at them, or like maybe I'm, you know, wearing a carrot avatar or something just completely ridiculous. And the really fun part that I think we'd potentially get to explore more looking at these kind of interactions is being able to utilize the media system in hubs and show media really easily while you're inside of a call. And also this, to be able to show up in a hub space to the other tools that people are using to meet and stay together, and really focusing in on that like flexibility aspect of a system like hubs and being able to kind of meet people where they are.
Yeah, the fact that it's like a two-way bridge, I think, is something that you know, it would be much harder to do in the method that you were doing, where you're kind of doing this virtual webcam thing.
Definitely.
So it's a really cool thing, because then it's not just like sending your avatar to Zoom, but it's like you're bringing that whole Zoom call, and it's just part of the larger call. And it's really interesting.
Utopia in the chat made a really good comment that you should avoid showing up as a cat, though, if you are a lawyer. So. And if you weren't online last week and don't know what I'm referring to, then you know, it's worth a quick Google. All right, perfect. So yeah, keep the comments coming in the chat. We're definitely keeping an eye on them. And if you've got other questions about these as well, you know, we're happy to answer them. And I'm really digging seeing your folks' comments about Zoomception, etc. So I think we're down to the last presentation in terms of like projects from the Hack Week. So if Robert is ready, I will hand the virtual mic back over to you.
Ready? I'm going to share my screen here. Let me get it off Twitch. And there we go. Okay. Cool. So another thing that we've been asked about in a lot of different ways is, how can I get more web content into my 3D environment? And there's a lot of different ways to approach this. But a really clever one that we've seen done a number of times, and one that I wanted to experiment with, is how can we embed iframes into 3D? And a clever way that people have figured out how to do this is to basically use CSS to manipulate a iframe in 3D. And so for people who aren't familiar with this, your page is laid out in HTML, and all of our 3D scene is rendered in WebGL. And WebGL is kind of like a flat canvas HTML element, and this will be another HTML element that's layered kind of on top of it. And if I go to the place menu here, I've added a little web page button, and I'm going to go ahead and add a Google Doc. And as you can see, I can move around this thing. It's a little jittery. I'm working on that. But this is actually an HTML element that's overlaid into the 3D world. And I can pick it up and I can move it around. And I can also go and right click it, and it will go into full screen, and I can go in and I can actually write in it and all that. And I could also open this up in another tab and, you know, start editing it there too. If I pop this out and exit out of here, you can see you can have collaborative sort of like work meetings inside of hubs where you're all editing a document and you never have to leave hubs to do it. So yeah, it was a really big success. I think that there's some more work to be done here. One of the big limitations is this isn't really going to work in VR. In order for that to happen, we'd have to be able to render this iframe into WebGL, which there are some proposals to do, but we're not really certain when those are going to land. The option that we have for that in the future is basically you're going to be able to like do the same thing where I inspect it and then it'll pop you out of VR. So if you're using Firefox Reality, it'll pop you out into like a full screen flat 2D web browser, and then you can interact with it there. Yeah, we're really excited for this. You could watch YouTube videos, you could collaborate on Figma, you could build purpose-built applications for this that, games, all sorts of different things that can then be brought into your Hubs environment. And I'm hoping that we can get this out sometime. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's great. You had such a busy hack week, Robert. How did you pick these two particular projects to work on?
These are just ones that were floating around in my head for a long time. I actually did a third, which was post-processing, which Jim, you can't hear him right now, but he's definitely just saying like, this is the #1 thing on my list for like multiple years now, asking for me to add Bloom to Hubs. But yeah, these are just things that have been floating around in the community for a long time, and it was really great to have a week to just go and explore them. We'll see about post-processing. There's some more work to be done there. We got to upgrade 3JS, and then it might be possible. So we'll see.
That's really cool. It was really awesome to get an opportunity as a team to just really dig in for a week and do some kind of wild projects that we normally don't get a chance to do, and like collaborate together and actually like do these things that the community's been asking for that we just, we haven't had an opportunity to do before. And even if they're just sort of prototype phase ideas at the moment, like some of these actually might get further developed. And in fact, that would be a really natural segue for me to hand the virtual mic over to Liv to talk about the product roadmap. And I didn't even mean to do that. That was an accident. So Liv.
Excellent segue there. Yeah. So I want to talk about the roadmap for Hubs with a little bit of a disclaimer, and that's that, our team works really agilely. We like to get feedback as we're working on things. You heard from Regan a little bit earlier on about some new processes that the design team's going to take to make sure that the community is getting really involved and has more of a representation when we're thinking through new features and the new ways that we want to implement things for Hubs. And so I'm going to talk about some of the bigger projects that we've talked about as a team. I dropped a link to the GitHub wiki, which has a roadmap on it for H1. So specifically looking through the end of June 2021. And I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we've talked about. That doesn't mean we're going to necessarily get to everything on that list. And it doesn't mean that things that aren't on that list aren't going to get built. But they're some of the bigger projects that we've talked about as a team internally that we're now excited to start getting feedback on and start to really think more about how they'll get built. But before I even go into that, I want to just give a little bit more context to what we talk about when we talk about Hubs. Not everybody knows that Hubs is a set of products. It's what you see when you go to hubs.mozilla.com, but it's also Spoke. It's also Hubs Cloud. It's the Discord bot and other potential future integrations that we might be working on. And we're at this really interesting point as a team where we're moving out of an R&D stage where we're doing a lot of research about cool new features and starting to really think about how we're going to take all of those things that we've built in the past, the things that we've explored either as part of Hack Week or just in the usual work that we're doing, and start to really turn those into features that can land and be used over time and really grow over time to fit the needs that you and our community have. And so when we're thinking about what we really want to keep in mind as we're building out new features for all of the different products that are in this ecosystem for Hubs, it's really ones that give power back to you, the creators and the community, and really highlights the work that everybody in the community is doing. I know that I've just been completely blown away seeing what everybody in our community is doing with Hubs over the last year. And I am just super excited about that and seeing what comes out of some of the work that we can implement this year. So we're thinking about this year in a couple of different stages across all of these different products. We're taking some time up front to address some time-sensitive issues. Google Poly is being deprecated, and we need to figure out how we're going to handle that on the product. And we're also continuing to do things like just work on performance so that scenes work better regardless of the device that you're joining from, and working on general reliability for the services that we're operating. We want to make sure that voice connectivity is really solid so you can always hear people when you're in a room and they can hear you. Some more immediate things that we're doing right now, we're planning to ship out support for compressed texture soon. So artists will be able to use the new basis format. That's a cool advancements in graphics tech that we're excited to have land in Hubs shortly. We're planning to add a couple of like most requested features. I think the biggest one, Elgin, you could talk to how often you hear this, the ability to amplify a speaker's voice in a room so that everybody can hear them. We hear that a lot. You know, we're going to look into other types of media and presentation tools. You saw a little bit of the research at that with the iframe work, and for some of the camera work, we want to make sure that that's really performant when we land those as core features in Hubs. And we, you know, want to really hear from you about which of these projects that you're hearing about are really exciting. I think we're going to have a Twitter poll, if I'm not mistaken, going live shortly, where you can give us a little bit more feedback. But as Regan said, you know, we want to be hearing you know, what's resonating with you. On the Hubs cloud side of things, we want to look at ways that we can reduce the complexity of setting up the platform so that standing up your own instance of Hubs Cloud is a little bit easier. We are going to launch the new UI update that landed on hubs.mozilla.com earlier this year, and make sure that Hubs Cloud users can have that experience when they're deploying their instances as well. We're in the process of working on a backend API that'll open up some capabilities for developers who want to have who have their own instances, which we think will lead to some new applications and use cases, and exploring how that'll all come together. And like I said, there's a lot of areas of the product where we want to do more explorations. We want to design those with your feedback in mind and figure out ways that we can do things like improve onboarding and make it easier to navigate throughout the Hubs rooms that you're in, improve our in-world menus and interactions, and make sure that Hubs is really easy to use. Whether or not you have previous 3D gaming experience. And these are all things that we'll be working on in partnership with design, in partnership with you, the community. And I'm really excited to just see how we figure that out and figure out the best way to solve some of the challenges and the feedback that you all have been giving us. So the GitHub link that I shared on the wiki gives a little bit more detail about the specifics about how we'll address some of the things that I just mentioned. But really, I'm just really excited for us to be able to explore that with all of you, and also to take the work that we saw earlier with the Hack Week projects and figure out the right ways that those are going to come into the product so that we can keep building some really cool stuff together.
Thank you for sharing that, Liv. It's so cool to get your insight, and I'm so happy we can share a little bit more about our roadmap with our community, right? Because we get asked all the time. One question that I have, and I don't want to put Erica on the spot, but like, do you think that we'll be doing another Hack Week in the future?
I hope so. I hope we can make this a really regular kind of thing, maybe every quarter. But I had a lot of fun, and I hope the team did too. So I definitely want to do it again.
I'll put it out to the team. Did the team have fun?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
What's that? Oh.
Yeah, people were asking about the sticker Liv is holding up there.
Yeah, I mean, here I can share my screen again.
Yeah, bring up the merch store. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
we have Hubs merch available. It's your favorite duck.
There's
on
some
everything.
good stuff on there. You can get Foxer hoodies, which if you haven't tried out the Foxer avatar yet, you definitely should. Anyways,
That one's mine. I use that one.
I do associate that
yet.
one very much with Elgin.
But I don't think there's stickers on here. Unfortunately, you'll have to wait on those. I mean, Liv has the secret holographic stickers somewhere, so.
I do.
Yeah, I don't think those are available on the store.
We'll have to try to find a way to get stickers out to folks.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you folks for all sharing that. We're going to do a little bit of a shift in tone for the rest of this chat. But before we do, I just want to say, like, if you've got questions, feel free to post them in chat. We're paying attention to that. If you wanted to ask any follow-up questions, we've got a bunch of members of the dev team. We even have John, who hasn't actually spoken during the presentation, but he is in fact here on the call.
Yes, I can confirm I am here on the call. I haven't said anything. I exist, but I'm here for the next part.
And then now we're going to be moving on to playing some competitive solitaire with each other, which I know is a little bit weird, but this has been the game that we have been totally hooked on. It's surprising that we get anything done actually nowadays, because I think we're all just playing nerds in our free time. So we'll give Liv a few minutes to get that up and streaming with you folks if you want to watch. But yeah, you can cheer us on.
It's a lot more exciting than it sounds. When you say multiplayer competitive solitaire, it doesn't sound that interesting, but it's
literally the greatest game that's ever been created.
It's also the most stressful game I've ever played. It's far more stressful than any other FPS I've played, anything else. And yeah, if you haven't heard of it, it's completely free. It's Zachtronics, who has done a bunch of really awesome puzzle games, TIS 100, Shenzhen IO, Infinifactory, bunch of really good puzzle games. Yeah, he released this. There's kind of been this kind of Easter egg thing with his games. He usually puts a solitaire game in there, and then he decided to actually release a just standalone solitaire game, but it's multiplayer. So it's really good.
And I usually watch because it's so stressful. Just the
Yes.
secondhand stress is enough, but it's a lot of fun to watch too.
Can
Yeah, I can
confirm
only
it
handle,
raises
one
my
game.
heartbeat when I play.
Yeah, you were playing with the
Heart
heart
rate's
rate
already
monitor last time.
accelerated.
I want to take this opportunity to say a big shout out to Jim too, who you can't hear at the moment. Maybe Jim can pipe his voice out over through OBS through Twitch in the next little bit while we're playing the game. But
Yeah, he's
I'm not sure. Hopefully people can hear me, but just want to say hi. And
yeah, he's
also very excited about all the work that was done on the Hack Week, and just the amazing flexibility that our team had to just jump around from one thing to another. I get just as inspired, I think, as our community does. So,
it's kind of awesome. This whole time, Jim has kind of been whispering into our ear, when we're supposed to share something, or it's been really good.
All right, we got the Nerds game in chat, so we can have team members join in.
In private chat. Sorry,
Private
Twitch
chat.
chat.
Not in Twitch.
We're not
Sorry.
ready for that level of
okay.
involvement.
Only 6 people can be in a game anyway, so it's
Oh, it's happening. Oh, it's
Feel bad
happening.
now.
Here we go. I'm gonna go over to.
Oh boy, I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Oh, hold on. I gotta choose my deck.
If Liv is streaming to
Should
Discord, it
hopefully.
should share the audio, I think. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be able to hear the audio. I don't know if Liv has to unmute herself on Disc. No, I don't know. We'll see. Let us know if you end up hearing the audio from the game or not.
I mean, there's no waiting audio, unfortunately, so we can't.
Yeah, I know. We won't be able to know until we start the game.
All I want is
one
for
of the best parts of the
Dom
game.
to do the commentary. Maybe I'll have to do the commentary.
Yeah, I'm playing the I'm playing the game, so you're gonna have to
Yeah,
do the
someone else is
commentary.
gonna have to moderate Twitch chat now because I can't watch Twitch chat and
Don't tell Twitch
competitively.
chat that there's
Yeah,
no
you're-
moderator.
that's
That's
the
rule
worst.
number one.
I know there's people in there.
I will jump into the moderation role because it is too stressful for me to play nerds.
Oh, can we switch our now that we are playing Nerds, can we switch our Twitch category?
Oh, yeah.
So that we end
Yeah,
up
switch us over to the Nerds so that we pop over to the top of the Nerds streamers.
Are you kidding me right
which
now?
I'm sure there are.
How do I do that? I don't even know how to do that.
I don't know, the same way you changed the title.
Oh, Twitch.
Are we waiting for one? Or,
We
do
have
we still have
5,
another?
yeah.
Do we still have another player?
I don't know.
Come on, who's going to be the last? I'll post the link into Twitch chat. I'll do it.
Oh, the category. I see. What
Tim,
category
are
is
you going to
this?
be playing?
I don't know. Isn't there
There
like
should be a category
It's
for
like-
nerds, I thought.
Is there really?
No, I think it's just. I don't know.
Oh, I
There's
haven't
like-
been on
Yeah,
Twitter in a
there
long
is a
time.
category for nerds online.
Yeah, there
Hey,
should
you
be.
go.
I'm doing it.
We're
Nice.
gonna jump to the top of the.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I hope that
change
we
it to
capture
that.
the attention of the nerds community. This is like how we're gonna grow hubs. Is we're gonna get really into a bunch of good games, and then like just bridge the gap. I guess we have to play Valheim next.
Well,
Yes.
yeah, maybe.
Oh my God, Valheim is so good.
You know the
Is
next
anyone
stream we do, it's
So
still going to
good.
say
Did I?
nerds as our category. I'm going to totally forget to change that back.
Oh yes.
It's gonna be like customizing your space in Blender for nerds.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we're not gonna get a sixth.
I think
So-
we're going for it.
We should
This
just
is it.
do it.
Oh,
All right.
we're in the game.
Is everyone ready?
Oh wait, are you not in the game, John?
I'm in the game.
Oh yeah, you're in the game. Okay.
Should
All
I press
right.
ready?
All right. Yeah, you can ready up.
All right. I'm gonna hit ready.
I'm ready.
Are we hearing the audio on stream of the?
All right,
when
turn
people
that
ready up?
mature
I'm
filter on.
The nerds
It's
guy.
time to swear.
Wait.
Oh yeah,
everybody
I
quiet.
can't.
No, no.
I don't know
none
if I'm
of that.
supposed to not swear now, but I can't make any guarantees.
What rating are we on Twitch?
We should make
Alright.
clear there are no more pending like hubs announcements, right? It's
Yeah, if
like
you-
we're
if you're
just
just
playing
joining
games
us,
now.
There is nothing to see here except a ridiculous game of nerds.
Replay should be.
And if
up
you're here
soon,
for the
though.
nerds and you don't know what
Okay.
Hubs is, that's fine. We're here. We're doing nerds now. So
All right. I'm gonna ready.
subscribe. Smash that subscribe.
Ready,
Yeah.
ready, ready,
It
ready.
almost makes
This
me feel
is
like
the
I should
Mozilla
look.
nerds
Look, I'll just take
team.
the Hubs logo off the
3, 2,
screen and
1.
just remove it. Like, okay, no more Hubs logo.
Play dirty like that.
I'm keeping an eye on the chat too. So if you folks wanted me to pass any questions on to the dev team, I am happy to do so.
Oh yeah, right. In
we
the
are
middle.
we are almost
Right in the middle of nerds.
guaranteed we're not going to be able to answer any of them.
Oh,
But I actually like that. Please ask very technical questions.
Please
while-
don't ask us how
Oh,
many
God.
people we can fit in a hubs room during this.
No, I think
Yes,
you should.
that's-
I think you should ask a bunch of questions, and then it'll be funny to see how poorly we can respond. Because what I'm speaking right now, but like I have no idea what I'm saying because all of my attention is going to
Nerds.
which cards I'm placing down here. And now you're gonna have moments where you see that we could play a card, and you're like, how is it that you know that
It's
the
right
card is
there.
and they're just not
It's
playing
right
it.
there, and they're not playing it.
So you don't realize that we're losing our minds right now because because it is just so hard. Oh,
Then my mouse stops working.
I'm doing.
typical excuse.
Everyone is so
Mm.
Who's
focused.
got?
Oh my god, I've played nothing. I've played no cards.
Oh.
Yeah, me either.
That's because you said any words at all, and that's
No, that's
it's
not even it. Like,
possible to do anything.
No, it's
else.
like literally I have just only high cards in my deck.
Do it. Do it. Drop the
Come on,
card.
come on.
Drop
Ah.
What is this? What is?
You're
what are
welcome.
these cards? Oh my
I'm a
god.
troll.
So for the
There we
people who
go.
might be watching it, have never played Nerds before. You folks are trying to. It's basically solitaire, but you're trying to
Mm.
put your
No.
cards up in the middle, right?
Yeah, and you get points for putting them in the middle, and you get minus points for all the cards that are in your nerds pile over here, which is that stack of cards on the left of your board. I literally have only kings and nines. This is stupid. I can't do anything. Oh my god! Wait, the 10. Ah, there we go.
Wow, we
Okay.
don't have very many.
The game is going to open up.
Oh
for
no!
me now that I
I
played
did
that
not
one
mean to
card.
play that. Oh god.
Oh
Is
my
everything
God.
on the left side? I'm like all the way on the right.
You know, I mean,
Maybe it's because I haven't
it's
found
a
any
tough
faces.
life. Oh my God! What are these cards?
Why? There's nothing.
Okay. I've played two cards
Nothing.
so far. I've played 2 cards, and there's a whole pile just already done there. So the